The prosecution in the Scott Guy murder trial is now summing up in the Wellington High Court. Crown lawyer Ben van der Kolk is outlining why the Crown says Ewan McDonald killed his brother-in-law in a murder that was highly planned and intensely personal. Janneke de Allen has been in court for the trial and joins us now live. Janneke.
Yes, Jeff, public interest in this case is really starting to build now. This morning outside court, I counted about 75 people queuing up, trying to get one of the places inside. And just now, as I came out to speak to you, there were 40 more who couldn't fit inside the courtroom. Now, the Crown has begun its summing up this morning by outlining a number of slip-ups it says Ewan McDonald made on the morning of the murder. And it reminded the jury of how Ewan McDonald was overheard telling somebody at the scene that Scott Guy had been shot, and that was at a point when nobody knew how Scott had died, and Ewan McDonald hadn't got close enough to his body to tell. He was then overheard later in the day telling his parents that he thought that Scott's throat had been cut. Now, the Crown also chose to highlight how Ewan McDonald had chosen not to tell his wife Anna about her brother's death.
She did not hear the news from her husband. He had called everyone else. He'd been to the scene. At the scene and within it and around it, he'd been light-hearted.
The Crown also spoke of how Ewan McDonald had told a police officer at the scene that he had seen the lights of Scott's ute shining through the gates at the property. But the Crown says that when everybody else turned up at the scene, those gates were open. So the only way that Ewan McDonald could have had that view was if he was there before the murder and if he was the killer. Now, the Crown is now talking about Simon Asplin. He's a farm worker who the defence has tried to implicate in this case. But the Crown says Simon Asplin had no reason whatsoever to want Guy dead, and that Ewan McDonald had everything invested in this family farm. He was scared that Scott Guy was going to steal his future on it. Now, the Crown will continue summing up. This afternoon it will be the defence's turn, and the judge will then provide some direction for the jury before they head out for their deliberations.
Okay, Janneke, thank you.